What is leading to this resurgence in religious sentiment, and what does it mean for our nation? Here to discuss is our panel, self-described Jesus fanatic and lead pastor of the Institutional Church, Pastor Alex Williams, Rabbi Motti Seligson, a spokesman for the Chabad Lubavitch movement and associate director of Chabad.org, and Father Anthony Domenic Sorgie, pastor of the Immaculate Conception and Assumption of Our Lady Parish in Tuckahoe, New York. Thank you so much for being here for this holy panel. We're so thrilled. So, Father Anthony, let me start with you. Are you seeing this phenomenon of a spiritual revival in your own community?
Yes, absolutely. Very clear, especially in the age group that you described in the introduction.
And what about you, Pastor Alex? Are you seeing this as well?
Yeah, as a third-generation pastor, there's no greater time to be a follower of Christ and to go to church than the time that we're living in now.
And Rabbi Motti, what about you?
Well, we're finding young people are losing their faith in politics, in the virtual, and finding it in their hearts. And they're leaning into their belief in God and trusting God and the thing that they could hold on to.
So you see it as a kind of desire to return to the tangible, which is ironically bringing them to a spirituality. Do you agree, Pastor Alex?
I do. I mean, post-pandemic age, AI, social media is embedded into our culture, but it doesn't replace authentic connection, and that's what people are looking for.
Father Anthony, what would you say is pushing young people to search out these ancient institutions?
I think for some of them, it's a return to the very roots, the cultural roots, the things that are going on, some that they're not happy with, but it's such a positive. Their faith, the faith of their ancestors was such a positive. They saw what their elders were able to do because of their faith. And now I just hate to, it's a little more acceptable to have a spiritual life.
Yeah, it's almost like religion has become cool again in this massive reversal. Father Anthony, what do you do in your services to make it exciting for young people to attend?
Well, first of all, attention to them. It's obvious, and we call it out. I had the opportunity to do that, to discover them and to actually call them out, because there's nothing like a congregation loves than seeing young adults back, gives life.
What about you, Pastor Alex?
Yeah, I mean, we just engaged in something we called stoop service. We asked all of our neighbors, come sit out on your Brooklyn stoop, and we baptized people in the middle of a Brooklyn street. And we saw that people were so excited to come together, and literally we would see that people engaged in spontaneous baptisms. So people are living their faith out loud.
Wow, that's incredible. And what is a typical service like where you are the pastor? How do you make sure that young people feel seen and included and excited to show up?
Well, number one, I try to be as young as I I am a younger pastor, but we're just really intentional with engaging people with music, celebration, a celebratory spirit, and in making sure that people feel welcomed when they come into the church. They're rejected in a lot of areas of life, so to find a place where they can feel welcome and accepted and embraced is paramount.
Rabbi Motti, Chabad, the branch of Judaism that you belong to, is the fastest growing branch of Judaism. A lot of the more liberal streams are actually shrinking. What is Chabad doing right that is making young people want to feel included, want to keep coming back, and such a vibrant energy to that movement, would you say?
I would say there are two parts to it. One part is we live in a very lonely time. We're hyper-connected, but very lonely. And providing community and rooted in authentic faith is something that brings meaning and purpose in people's lives. And one thing that's very unique about Judaism is that most of Judaism is not practiced in a house of worship. It's mostly at home. And it's about taking that faith and it permeating all parts of someone's life and uplifting that life. And it's how they interact with one another at home or at work or socially. And that's something in this hyper-connected but hyper-lonely reality that people live in is very meaningful.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.